What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Kajun Towboater Reviews. My name is Bo, aka the Kajun Towboater, and today we have a review for you, but it is not a figure, it is a movie. We're going to be reviewing the Batman, and being this is a new movie, there will be, this is a spoiler alert, so I will talk about plot points throughout the movie, and if you haven't watched it yet, don't watch this review until you watch it. Alright, let's go ahead and get this started.
Underneath the bridge.
Alright, y'all, the Batman. This was a pretty great movie. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about some of my favorite things through there. If y'all see me looking this way, I have a few pointers I want to go through to make sure I hit everything on this review for y'all. This won't be a perfect review. This is my first one, first movie review. So let's go ahead and we'll start talking about this. One of the first things that I do love about it, the world building of it. I mean, it's really building the world of the Batman. How he, I mean, the plot of it is he's only been active for 2 years, and he's still trying to rid Gotham of crime, make Gotham a better place, and it builds upon that. It builds on kind of like how Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy did with it, the escalation. He's noticing, the Batman in this movie is noticing that even though he's been hard at it for 2 years, crime hasn't gotten any better. It's still happening. The one thing that threw me off about it, he's narrating, and it kind of brought me back to Zack Snyder's The Watchmen. I was waiting for him when he set a date to say a comedian died in New York. Other than that, I mean, the narration helped. It set up how he's dealing with the crime and escalation and stuff like that. And the one thing that you will notice about this movie is there's more Batman than Bruce Wayne than any other Batman movie has ever been. I'm not counting Justice League or Batman v Superman, because we saw a lot of Batman, especially in Batman v Superman, but this one has more Batman than anything. Definitely, I mean, there's many differences from the Burton movies, the Schumacher movies, the Nolan movies, even Snyder stuff. It is dark like the Burton movies. You don't get the little sound effects like on the Schumacher movies. You don't get the bat nipples, but you do get the darkness and the realization, not the realization, but the grounded reality, like in the Nolan movies and stuff like that. Yes, there is some things, because it is a comic book movie, that aren't grounded in reality, but it's a comic book movie. Definitely what is different, he perfected the Batman voice. George Clooney didn't have a Batman voice. Christian Bale sounded like he had throat cancer. But I like the way that as Bruce Wayne, he's timid and he's kind of speaking in a whisper, but as Batman, he does have that whisper. It's a little deeper, but it can be gruff when you need it. Now, there was one point where he did push it towards the Christian Bale Batman voice. It's whenever the Riddler's in jail and he's talking, and we've seen it in the trailer where he's punching the glass and he asks, "What did you do?" and he keeps asking that. It does get to that voice, but it doesn't get to where you can't really understand it, or it's hard to understand it like Christian Bale's Batman voice had gotten. But let's go ahead and talk about Robert Pattinson as Batman. When he was cast, I mean, the internet was in an uproar, just like whenever Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker for The Dark Knight. People, oh, he's not going to be good. Oh, let's bring Michael Keaton's my favorite, Christian Bale's my favorite, Ben Affleck's my favorite, things like that. I think I even saw some people say, I don't know if it was a joke, but that George Clooney was their favorite. But Robert Pattinson brings Batman to life. I mean, he definitely threw himself into his role, which I've noticed that I've watched the Twilight movies with a girl I was dating years and years ago, but the other movies that I've seen Robert Pattinson in, he throws himself in a role and he becomes those roles. So he did this with Batman, and he did this with Bruce Wayne. I love him for this part. He took that complexity and ran with it. Just like how I loved with this movie, you always see how they have the black eyeliner, the where the eyes and everything blend in with the mask. You saw it be removed in Batman Returns whenever he's going to rip off his mask, instead of them just ripping off his mask and still having the black eyeliner. But on this one, they said no, this is really how Batman does it. So when they take off his mask, it's there, the black eyeliner's there, the messed up hair's there. He doesn't look like he's taking off the mask in front of him, lifting it up or something like that, like they do on Power Rangers or something like that. No, he's really taking off that mask. It's showing his messed up hair, it's showing the eyeliner and everything, and I like that. It grounds it in the realism. Jeffrey Wright as Gordon. He's not commissioner yet. There is a commissioner there, his former partner. Doesn't like that he's working with the Batman, the commissioner, but he allows it because they used to be partners. And I love Jeffrey Wright. The only problem is, after watching Marvel's What If, all I kept hearing was The Watcher. But I got past that because he did make a good Commissioner Gordon. Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle. She was great. The costume, the mask was a little hard to get past, but other than that, I mean, I really have nothing to complain about. She did great as the part. She was a very convincing Selina Kyle and Catwoman. Even though they never really mentioned Catwoman by name, she does mention that the Bat and the Cat has a good ring to it and stuff like that. How they should go to Bloodhaven, which was a good shout out to the comic books with Bloodhaven. And it does go into like from the Long Halloween with like some of those stuff, some of the story arc parts with Carmine Falcone being her father and things like that, which I like how they threw that in there. Paul Dano as the Riddler, he was amazing. My little brother made a joke that he wanted to know how long or how much through the movie did he keep on his mask as the Riddler, because he don't like Paul Dano's face. But either way, with the mask on, without, he played the Riddler, and it's not the Jim Carrey Riddler where he's just making jokes, cracking around, running around in green spandex with question marks on it. No, he is like the Zodiac killer. He is going out, taking out people that are corrupt, and actually enjoying it. And he thinks that he's actually doing a good thing with Batman, which is one thing I love. It's more like he feels like he's working with Batman. So once Batman tells him, no, you're crazy, you're staying in jail for the rest of your life, or like in Dark Knight, because you could be in a padded cell forever. He flips because he thought Batman was on his side, which I love that part, because he's not crazy, he's just needs help up there. It's just one of those things. John Turturro as Carmine Falcone, he was good. I can see him. I like when he plays bad guys. He was good. He wasn't in the movie as much as you would think, being he is one of the bigger names on there too, from the past. Like I said, a bigger name from the past coming in. But he was still good. He good part of the storyline. How they used him from the comics, being a good friend of Thomas Wayne and helping him out when he did need it, and going too far that Thomas Wayne was just like, no, I'm done, and things like that. I like how they threw that in there. But let's get to one more before we get to one of the good parts of it, even though it was a small part. Andy Serkis is Alfred. I like the fact that he honestly thinks, you can tell in the way that Andy Serkis played him, you can tell that he thinks Bruce Wayne has lost his mind. But because he's raised this boy to be this man and trained him, he stays with him and helps him out. Like I said, he looks at him like he's crazy, but he helps him out. And Andy Serkis did that pretty well. But the one big surprise that everyone is loving, even though he's not in the movie that long,
Whoa, take it easy, sweetheart.
is Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot the Penguin. He was amazing as the Penguin, and I can't wait to see his the HBO show, that HBO Max show that they make with it. That is going to be a kind of like Peacemaker. Like, I love the Peacemaker show. I especially love the theme song. So hopefully they have a good theme song, not the dancing, but hopefully they have a good theme song with the Penguin. Next, I want to talk about the costumes. Batman, the Batsuit. It looked like it was armor. I mean, you could tell it was armor. It was taking gunshots straight to it, but it still looked like he could move in it. I like the cowl, how it comes off. It had the cape connects, and it has the collar to it, to where it looked like he could still move his head. He didn't have to do the Batman turn or anything like that, like Keaton and Kilmer and Clooney, and also Bale on the first Batman, on Batman Begins, had to do. He looked like he can turn his head and look like he can move in it comfortably without having the extra weight or anything holding down. I'm pretty sure it was a heavy suit, but it looked pretty much armored. They don't mention what he made the bat symbol out of. I know it was a whole big thing. Oh, he made it out of the gun that killed his parents. And then you think about it, how did he get that gun if that's the one that they used to kill his parents? Yeah, I mean, but I like how he could take it off and it becomes blades. It's either connected, you can take off just one, or takes off both of them and then puts it right back in. Instead of the cape that he uses to fly, like on Batman Returns, or well, not really Batman Returns, he used a big old hand glider thing. Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, even in The Dark Knight and Batman, the Nolan trilogy, how he uses the cape to fly. I like the way they kept this, once again, grounded in reality, and he used the wingsuit. I also like how it's just his second year. He hasn't really had to run from anybody. So when he gets up on the roof of that building and he's looking down and he knows he has to strap in and get the wingsuit ready, he's freaking out like not wanting to jump off. Like, he is scared. I like how they did that. One other good thing I liked about with this, I forgot to talk about when I talked about Pattinson as Batman. They literally, which they didn't do much of it on the Burton and Schumacher films. They did a little more in the Nolan films, and they touched a little bit on it in Justice League and Batman v Superman, but they really dove into him becoming the world's greatest detective, like finding out these things, although some things kind of went a little far, made him look a little creepy, like eavesdropping on Selena Kyle and stuff like that. But other than that, I like the aspect that they brought more of the world's greatest detective in it. And hell, they even the Penguin calls him and Gordon that because they end up guessing wrong on something. But that was just a funny part. Catwoman's costume, like I said, the mask was something. It just felt like something they could have did something better, because I mean, she did work in a club and stuff like that. She didn't need that kind of she was making the money. She could have afforded a better mask instead of just like the ski mask type of thing where it looked like it had cat ears. Her costume, besides the mask, great. I mean, it looked like a Catwoman costume. Alright, the Riddler's costume, like I said, it's not your normal green spandex question marks. The costume design made it look like the Zodiac. And if you don't know who the Zodiac Killer is, look it up. There's all kind of true crime crime podcasts on it. And how he was designed, how he was described, the Zodiac Killer, and the forensic artist drew it and stuff like that. That is how they designed the Riddler's costume. Hell, even his symbol with the question mark was reminiscent of the Zodiac symbol. How they had different things on it. Paul Dano said the only thing he regretted with his costume was that he took it a little too far. He was thinking, well, the Riddler's not going to shave his head or anything like that, but how, if he's going to be at these crime scenes, how would he not get his have his DNA go anywhere? And he said, well, he would wrap himself, he thought he would wrap himself in cling wrap, and he really did that. And he regretted it the first time, because he got hot, was sweating, could not release any of that heat, ended up with a bad headache and things like that. He said, but it helped his performance. My thing is okay, all you have to do is kind of say that or show it once, and then the rest of the time you didn't have to do anything. But he said that after a while they cut holes in it and stuff like that, and it helped. He still wore it, and they even say that in the movie on his because he has a big like Twitch/Twitter whatever following, and it literally says, do not forget your cling wrap. Because the Riddler, once he is arrested and his bigger plan gets put into place, he has all his followers that have followed him, that he grew that grew with all the videos he was posting of the corrupt and getting rid of the corrupt. They all dress like him, and they attack towards the end. So while he's in jail, his followers are attacking dressed as him. And that's pretty much it for the costumes, really. I mean, it was just suits that the other guys wore. The only thing I will talk about is that the Colin Farrell did say it took him 4 hours to get into the bodysuit and the prosthetics and stuff like that. But he did great as the Penguin, and he looked like the Penguin, like Oswald Cobblepot, not Burton's Penguin with the flippers and stuff like that, but he looked like a gangster. And hopefully he does play a bigger role in the sequels. The plot of the movie is Riddler is tired of the corrupt, and it's an election year, and the Riddler's taking out the corrupt politicians. He takes out a corrupt DA, a corrupt mayor, and a lot of corruption, and he exposes that Thomas and Martha Wayne actually covered up a lot of Martha's past because her father killed her mom, and she spent time in Arkham. They actually, her family is the Arkhams. They opened up Arkham Asylum and stuff like that. But she actually spent time in an institution, and they covered it. They covered that up, and the Riddler releases all of that because a reporter brought it to them while Thomas Wayne was running for mayor before they got killed, and Thomas was trying to protect Bruce and his mom, his family, and he brought it to Carmine Falcone and told him to take care of it, but don't kill him. And Carmine killed him, and he basically turned his back on Carmine and said, "No, I didn't want that to happen." And then all of a sudden, Thomas and Martha Wayne were killed. And the Riddler's just trying to rid Gotham of all the corruption. The renewal program that Thomas Wayne created was good at first, but once they were killed, all the gangsters and the crooked politicians and crooked cops went for it, and they started using that as the wrong type of stuff. There is a cameo in there that basically could have been used as an after credit scene, but it's put in towards the end, and it's while the Riddler's in jail talking. The inmate, you can't tell, you just see the outline of his face, but you can tell by the hair and the laughing that it is the Joker, and I can't wait to see where that goes to as well. The pacing and the runtime, the pacing was great. You actually got a chance to understand the story, start seeing what's happening and stuff like that. I mean, the runtime, it's 4 minutes short of 3 hours. Most people say, "Oh, that's too long." I enjoyed it. I did not notice the runtime until after the movie was done and I checked my watch. I even messaged my wife saying I didn't realize it was gonna be that long, but it was still a great movie. Overall, my rating of this movie, I'll give it 4.5 out of 5 stars because it had its flaws, but it was still a great Batman movie. It was a comic book movie, grounded in realism, but it's still a comic book movie. Like, there's some parts where I kind of laugh where Bruce is doing the wingsuit. He lets off the parachute to land on top of the bus. It catches a bridge, and basically he should have been knocked out or concussed or even dead because he hit that bridge so hard when the parachute caught. So it has its flaws, but it's still a good Batman movie. It's up there with the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was a great movie, and it had its flaws as well. And yeah, it's a solid Batman movie, and I hope to see more in the future where they continue that, especially from the Penguin, to see where they go with the Joker, and the Riddler's in prison. Maybe he'll escape and stuff like that, to see what other villains they'll bring as well, to see where they go with Catwoman. And now that the DA's gone, maybe they'll bring in Harvey Dent. That would open it up for Two-Face. So that was my review on the Batman. If you like this review, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you liked about it. Let me know what you didn't like about it. If you've seen the movie, and let me know what you liked about that and didn't like about it as well. And if you want to follow me on Facebook or Instagram, if you look in the top corner, you'll see my Facebook and my Instagram. And you can follow me on there, message me, hell, give me critiques, anything I can do to improve this for y'all, I would love to do. Thank y'all again, and as always, I will see y'all in the next video.